Party 2 years ago, Paul, appreciate it. I just probably want to ask, who's been to Thornbury in the last 5 years or so? Just put your hand up so I can get a sense of if you've been through our doors. Maybe in the last year or 2 years? Fair enough. I've been here before. I came here about 2 summers ago. It was my first game. Thanks for playing not too hard, and we just lost, and really enjoyed your hospitality when we were here. Thornbury were. It was a Tuesday night game, and it was a really good introduction for me. It's my second year, as Paul was saying, and probably first thing I'd say is thanks to Jean Little and all the members at the club. I've only had the opportunity of plugging into our ecosystem and just enhancing it. We haven't improved the club. We've just enhanced what is a lot of very experienced members, very experienced. A lot of great stories that I plug into on a Saturday. I just sit down with our experienced members. I'm an inexperienced member. I've been there about 2 years, as you heard before. So for me, there's no age there. It's just, why we're all here. So from a Thornbury perspective, I don't know our turnover at the moment. I was on the board last year, and that's how I pretty much met Paul. And this year I stepped off to actually focus on bowling, and we played during the winter comp at Darabin International Sports Centre. We're playing again in a few weeks' time, and we're not going to go well. We didn't do well last year, but we really enjoy the camaraderie of that competition. I've got some notes, but I just think, what makes us relevant in our community, I think, is partly location. We're not far from the high street. Yes, there's a lot of hipsters in the area. Yes, there's a lot of people that lived in the area a long time, so there's a lot of non-hipsters as well. I've been involved, as we said before, for 2 years, and I think myself and Ian and some others at the club have really focused on the primary schools in the area. So I'm a primary school dad of 2 girls, and we found that there were lots of parents in that age group. We couldn't find the 50-year-olds. I'm 42. We couldn't find the 50-year-olds. We couldn't find any more 60-year-olds. We couldn't do the letter drops. We were starting anew, so we just connected through Facebook, like Brunswick mentioned, probably Middle Park. But importantly, I spent time with Paul visiting some primary schools in the area. We were lucky enough to partner with Bowls Victoria to get some primary schools playing in a tournament. We did a 2-prong attack, which was, approach, which was try and get a primary school tournament, get a lot of parents understanding that their kids can also play. My kids go to Wellstreet Primary. We're lucky there's 660 kids, 1,300 parents nearby. The Bowls Club hadn't tapped into that. 2 years ago, we might have had 47 members. We've got about 280 now. 280 feels a lot for us. We've got a licence for 350 people. And I'd say our room would be skinnier than this and maybe a bit longer. So each time we get 100 people, like at our Christmas function, we sold it out in the last few years. It feels really busy. So if we don't have our buildings like this, we don't connect with the outdoors, and that's a long-term project of ours. So thanks, Brunswick, for confirming what we might want to do in the years to come. We just have pull-down windows so we can talk to the players or listen to what they're doing. As you can hear, it's not really scripted. Has anyone got any questions at this stage? Because there's some really interesting stuff coming through in a minute. But
when you get in contacts with the tradies.
Yeah, great, thank you. We're fortunate. We're 110 years old. Our birthday was last year in December. We had a little party for members. That was great. We do own ourselves. Yes, we have a board that oversees our operations. We've got some really experienced selectors, but it's not really, yes, it's separate, but it's not really a big deal. There's not that many bowling members. I would say we've got 30 to 40. I was texting one of the guys before. I don't exactly know how many, but I know them all by name. I've spent time with them all. I think maybe what makes us a little bit different was the year that a few years ago, we held a community festival, invited all the people from all the primary schools. We hadn't done that before. We got about 250 people come along. We partnered with Lentil as Anything and not-for-profit. So we've been trying to search for not-for-profit organisations that can help us cater for functions that size. We haven't really done the food truck thing. I think that's a great, thing for some clubs to consider. That's not really been we're not really structured that way. We've got a really small street frontage. About 2 years ago, we decided let's pull on the emotional strings of the community and commission some murals. So we had a really graffiti wall on the Normanby Road side, and we got a mural painted all the way along there. And we just saw maybe it was, I don't even know how many litres, but a big water tank just above our green, and we just decided let's do a tribute to our life members. So we call it the biscuit tin, and we've got all our life members painted onto with their consent, of course. We worked really hard to get that into the local paper, and it got in there. That was great. We worked really hard with the Melbourne Food and Wine Festival to try and have an event, and we saw some other clubs doing that for many years. So I found a local restaurant that we had a day in July a few years ago, and got that into the broadsheet, or just into the media. And it was just by emailing every single media outlet you could possibly think that I was doing it at night time. None of us are paid. We've got, in fact, we've probably got about 5 casual staff. We feel like we're doing very successful. I think 2 years ago we made an $80,000 profit. So for us that was a really big number, and it allowed us to, thanks for the photos guys about Brunswick and Middle Park, the picnic tables, we regenerated an area with the permission of all the bowling members. So again, we were just saying, can we enhance it? We're not saying that we're going to improve it. And everyone went, yeah, actually we think that'll work. So that's worked well for us. And maybe I think part of our story is that I've partnered with our local breweries in the area. I know some other clubs have as well. In particular, in our area, we partnered with Three Ravens. It's a Thornbury beer brewery. We also partnered with Hawkers, which is local to a lot of us, in Reservoir, and we partnered with Brunswick Bicycle Beer in your area, in Brunswick. They helped us fund the new beer garden, helped us fund new beer taps. We used to have just Carlton just on, or VB. And I think we had about 4 taps. It was Carlton or VB. Without getting the permission of anyone, we asked the bar manager, can we maybe get some beers that, and we're not just focused on blokes and beer. We regenerated our other offerings to other parts of the community from a beverage perspective. But yeah, we just partnered with them, and I still ring them to this day and say, can we do something? What can we do to those guys? Because they're connected with the community as well. So that just maybe part of that focus was just to reflect the local community, because we've got a lot of those sorts of breweries in the area. At the moment, sorry?
Boutique beer sales.
Yeah, it has, yeah. So we've got a $7.50 price point on a pint, and it's been ridiculous. We do serve responsibly. We do open late. We're fortunate that we're quite a large size in the area. That higher density, someone talked about before, I think you might have mentioned it or something, but does that play a part in Brunswick? I think it will for Thornbury. In some ways, I don't really like all the buildings that are going up High Street, but so be it. So recently I've been thinking about marketing campaigns where we just tell everyone this is their back garden, because they don't have one, but in a real fun way. And we brought our price point of our social membership down from about $45 to $20. So we felt $20 for the social membership. Someone at the bar just talks to them, do you want to join? How much is it? $20? Yeah, great. We found that price point really worked. At $45, it was a bit prohibitive. People weren't spontaneously joining up, and we've joined up a lot more people relative to where we used to be. FPOS wasn't there 2 years ago. That was an easy change for us. Yeah, all I was just going to say was that we're considering maybe commissioning a documentary on our club and what we used to be and what we are now, because those really experienced members have got some great stories of the last 40 years. I've seen one other, and thanks to Paul for sharing that last year. I think it was one up in Sydney or New South Wales. In talks with Paul over the years, I've been talking about partnering full-time, and I haven't brought up with membership yet, but I want to get a sense from a not-for-profit. We spoke to Street Food last year. They're a not-for-profit organisation. Unfortunately, they weren't interested in creating a cafe restaurant, almost like here in Aberfeldy. There's a little bit of, I'll talk about it briefly because I shouldn't go on, but imagine in some of your clubs maybe a not-for-profit creates a vibe, a cafe vibe. You don't have to do the food, they do the food. I think part of it will be how can you separate it a bit, like some of the Middle Park was saying before, you need to have a separation sometimes. So that was a long-term possibility to bring up to our membership to see whether they would like to do something like that. Hopefully I've kept you awake.
Still do vans on Sundays? Is it once a month?
Yeah, we were doing those last year. I did a bit too much work, didn't see my girls enough, so we just relaxed.
Yeah.
We'll do it again this summer coming. We realised we did too many of them. We're only going to do one a month. Just Sunday afternoon music, and we partnered with a fish and chip shop and got deliveries, and that worked quite well last year.
Can you tell us about Wales Street and Thursdays and now that's now?
Oh yes, sorry, yes. So that Wales Street Primary School I talked to you about where my girls go, I just pushed really hard to get a group of people. We got about 50 or 60 to commit to a 5-week tournament, $50. That just helped, I think, fund the first week really, and it just grew from there. From that, those 50 people, I think we connected with about 11 of them to continue on now, and I'm still bowling with about 7 of them. Some are just going to be bowlers in 3 to 5 years' time, I think. Thursdays we called it. I think it started about 7 o'clock, 5 weeks. We did it before Christmas. We just pushed it in at about mid-October, finishing in about November. If we did it again, I think we'd try the February sort of point, post-school holidays for those parents who've got primary school kids. But yeah, it worked quite well. We didn't want to do it every year because I don't have the time to try and find those 50 people that might want to join up. Our website, I was just going to mention, thanks to all the people who've worked at the club. From a website perspective, we've got one. Is it great? Yeah, it's all right. What works quite well though is that our what the guys talked about, our conversion, or we know when we get an email and someone gets onto that, whoever it may be, whoever's got the best, most amount of time and who knows how to pretty much make sure someone books. And people can buy memberships online now. So we still have the paper-based form. We still have to get someone to second it and do all those things at the board meetings I was part of last year. But importantly, if people are having a function and we've got the barefoot bowlers and they're all, I don't know, younger than me, younger than 42. Sometimes we get that busy, we just say, how about, look, you can just log online and someone will show them and they just log online and buy it as if they were buying a membership for the zoo or something like that. So that's worked quite well. We still have to vet those people in the background.
Got any questions for Fred?
Is your grass green operational?
Pardon?
Is you got grass green operational? Last time I was there, it was the bank was all getting...
Yeah, we've fixed that. Yeah, the bottom green, the grass. Yeah, and we've got the top green. Artificial, the ice rink. Yep.
You know about that one?
Who likes bowling on the ice rink?
It's rather quick at night. Very.
Thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Fred.